Patrick and Jalen are taking this week to acclimate to the altitude as they climb the final peak of the Super Bowl, February 9th on Fox. So for this week's segment, we take a side quest to a nearby historic mountain, which features the best quarterbacks of the 21st century in a special side quest edition of Mahomes Mountain.
Thank you so much for the wonderful introduction, Kevin Wildes. And for the viewers on YouTube, remember,
on YouTube?
Subscribe, and on TV. But on YouTube, they've been asking questions. The number one question, you get to questions for the Bud List. I checked last Mahomes Mountain,
Okay.
and people were asking, hey, any update on Allen's Alpine?
Oh,
Now to Mahomes Mountain.
that was a rough one.
Sorry, Greg. Sorry, you asked for it. You did a whole bit about Allen's Alpine, all of it. And guess where that is? It's in Cancun, oddly. All right, so here's how it works. Your career needs to, this is what you've done in the 21st century, so 2000 to now. So there was one quarterback who straddled the line. It's Brett Favre. He's not included. Brett Favre won all his MVPs in the 90s, won his Super Bowl in the 90s. I know he played in the 2000s. He's not eligible for this mountain. 15 best quarterbacks of the last quarter century, 15 best quarterbacks of the 2000s. Bottom row. Let's reveal it. Eli Manning, two-time Super Bowl champion, two-time Super Bowl MVP, not a whole hell of a lot else, but they get you on the mountain. Phillip Rivers, 8-time Pro Bowler. Not a whole hell of a lot else. He played in the AFC Championship game with a torn ACL. That's impressive. Okay. Seems to be a wonderful father. I do like that. But not a lot of big moments. Kind of got blocked by Brady and Manning and Big Ben, so that's where he is. Russell Wilson, pre-Mahomes, the best opening 3 years of a career by any quarterback in modern NFL history. If you include... If you true first 3 years, because Brady obviously didn't play his rookie year, and then kind of tailed Russell's first 3 years, divisional round, then Super Bowl championship, Super Bowl loss.
It was impressive.
Was wildly impressive. Really? Obviously was then really good after that, but it hasn't really had the end you would like. Cam Newton and Matt Ryan, it's about the singular peaks of it.
Yep.
They both won an MVP, going resoundingly, and made a Super Bowl at their peak. They're there. Fourth row, Lamar Jackson. Two-time, I believe, I guess, about to be three-time league MVP. Big Ben, three Super Bowl appearances, 2 Super Bowl wins. Matt Stafford, 1 Super Bowl appearance, 1 Super Bowl win. Unbelievable postseason numbers, but not really the volume in the postseason. Josh Allen. This is a tough one because he's got none of the accolades of those other guys. However, you do feel like, when he just keeps losing to the same guy and that guy is held in the esteem that we hold him, and the raw numbers, the stats of the rushing touchdowns, the total touchdowns, all that, it feels to me like Josh Allen's a better quarterback than all of the 5 guys beneath him. But in fairness, he doesn't have the accolades of any of the 5 or accomplishments of 5 guys beneath him, so that's where I land. Third row, Aaron Rodgers, 10 Pro Bowls, 4 MVPs. You guys know the resume, it's pretty damn good. Kurt Warner, I'll be honest, we didn't cheat on this. However, you might be like, wait, Warner did all that in the 99 season. He was awarded the MVP and won the Super Bowl in January of 2000.
I buy that.
So you know what?
Yeah.
Counts for the
That counts.
century. Drew Brees, if Tom Brady didn't exist, he would hold every single quarterbacking statistical record. Instead, he's second place on basically all of them and won a Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes, 6 Pro Bowl, or the next row. Patrick Mahomes, Peyton Manning. Well, you guys know Patrick's resume. 5 Super Bowl appearances, 3 wins, maybe about to be 4. Peyton, 4 Super Bowl appearances, 2 wins, 5 league MVPs. And atop the mountain, 4 now, Tom Brady, the GOAT. And for the foreseeable future, the GOAT, 10 Super Bowl appearances, 7 Super Bowl wins, basically all you could ask for from a quarterback over a 20-plus year career, all in the 2000s. Oh, guys, take that off.
Wait, what?
Nobody.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, this is.
That doesn't look like Jaden.
Oh, guys, come on. I didn't. I tell you right now, I didn't put Caleb on there. He's trying, though.
I like it. Yeah, that's
Johnson,
right.
Listen, he's climbing, and he's right next to Aaron Rodgers, his idol. He's like, hey, can you give me some tips? I didn't put him on there.
No.
Okay.
Greg Jennings.
So the list, I like the
quarterbacks of the 21st century. Obviously, the first three, I don't think they're debatable. The order is what it is. After that, for me, I wouldn't have Drew Brees. And again, I know it's not left to right.
Oh, we're going to go left to right.
I see it left to right. And so when I see Kurt Warner in front of Drew Brees, I have a hard time with that one.
Wow.
But I'm just going to get right to it. And you're right. This is not Allen's Alpines. And so
I didn't know you were going to do this.
There's an exercise that we've all done it when we were kids and possibly as adults, where you get this little worksheet or you're playing a game and you look at it and it's like, which one doesn't belong? And it's Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Like
you're just being very.
This is not his mountain. He's not on this mountain.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I agree.
Like he's just not. He is not on this mountain. You cannot be on a mountain with every guy. Can we go to something that you put up? You put this up just yesterday.
Oh, trophies?
Career trophies. You can't be on that mountain with all those accolades. Guys who've won MVPs, multiple MVPs, Super Bowls, at least Super Bowl appearances.
You got to throw Flacco on there.
And you have nothing.
So you don't just want him dropped down, you want him off?
What's he got? What's the argument?
He can't be on here right now.
Donovan McNabb is taking his spot?
So all I'm saying,
Jalen Hurts?
He can't be on this mountain.
Okay, so here's
put Joe Burrow on there.
Well, that's the interesting thing. You picked Allen over Burrow.
He can't be on this mountain with Burrow. None of these accolades that all these other guys.
Well, I thought that might come up. I didn't think it'd come up from you, the guy who owns, a chalet on Allen's Alpine.
Exactly.
You're underwater in that one, buddy. Brew, this is where I think I'll get your support. Show the mountain again if we could. I apologize. The guys on Allen's Row and above, those 10 guys, to me, are blink test Hall of Famers. I understand Josh Allen's, the cement is not dry. He has to accomplish more. But everyone on his row and above him, to me, those are the I really don't need to argue about it Hall of Fame quarterbacks.
So Stafford?
To me, yes.
Really?
I feel
because I know after the Super Bowl win, you didn't have him in there.
I didn't have him in there yet, but it was to me very clear he was en route, and I think he has helped his case since then. Everyone on the row beneath is either a no or a very hard debate. Again, Josh is tough because I get if he retired today, he's obviously not a Hall of Famer.
Right.
I understand that piece of it, but I don't think he's going to all of a sudden disintegrate as a player over the next 5 years. And even if they never make a Super Bowl, if he continues this level of production for another half decade, he's going to be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
And he also, the other thing is this, the trophies thing is assuming he doesn't win MVP this year. And I know he's not the Vegas favorite, but he was, 2 weeks ago, and he could get it. And so that's the argument there. It's not that I'm trying to be nice. It's that I think Josh Allen's better than all the 5 guys beneath him.
I agree with that.
So I just think he's better than those guys.
I agree with that. But when you're talking about a mountain that is comprised of guys who've either went to the Super Bowl, won a Super Bowl, has hardware that says, I was the best player in this league.
No, I get that. Lamar and Josh are the only people on there who've never been to a Super Bowl, and Lamar has 2 MVPs.
Correct.
But I guess if Lamar ends up winning this one, Josh doesn't, it's 3-0. It's more to your point. If Josh does win it, which he could, we don't know, it's 2-1. But that's, Wildes looks quizzical.
I know, I'm making a Cam versus Josh argument in my mind.
I think that's a tough one.
Yeah.
Here's why. I think
went 15-1, won MVP, and went to the Super Bowl.
I think Cam's singular best season was better. I think if we are stacking their careers, here's how I would do it. Kind of like when we do, like, before the NBA Finals, like, who has the best player. Like, this team has the first pick. For stacking their careers, the first pick season is Cam's MVP year. The next 4 seasons are all Josh years. You know what? Like that
with these 2 guys,
with just Cam and Josh Allen. Like let's do a draft of the best years. The first pick of that draft is the 2015 Cam Newton year. The next 4 seasons you pick are the next 5 seasons you pick are 2020 through 2024 Josh Allen seasons. And so that's, so I agree with you on that. But Matt Ryan's in a similar boat. Matt Ryan's singular best season, that Falcons team was, they weren't 15-1, he won league MVP, they're one of the highest scoring teams ever. So go ahead, bro.
You are going to kick yourself, Nick, when I give you my first take, because I got some issues with the mountain. I think we'll see it on the bar right now.
Wow, I got to kick myself.
This bar is good. Mahomes alone. All right, so I agree with Brady at the top.
And then
You love using what?
Vacant.
Vacant.
I agree with that.
It should be Mahomes and then vacant. With all due respect to the great Peyton Manning, he wasn't Patrick Mahomes. So I moved Peyton down to Rodgers and the other guys. And I got 3 guys I'm moving down. So I'm moving Peyton down with Rodgers and Breeze. And I know Peyton, I would take him over those 2, but I'm moving him to that level. You could go double vacant, but
that was the little team.
Yeah. And Rodgers,
like
greatly talented and all that. I'm moving Kurt Warner down 1 notch too, though. Obviously, he had the great start to his career, then was about 4 years, 3 or 4 years, and then struggled for, a few years, and then came back at the end and had a nice run. So I'm moving him down, and that pushes Stafford down. And I know you love Stafford. I'm just looking at not just the Rams, though. 12 years in Detroit, only 3 playoffs. You had Megatron for a lot of that. I get it that they're dysfunctional franchise until Dan Campbell, but still, you got to make it happen more than that. So I'm moving Stafford down as well. So I got 3 guys, Peyton, Kurt Warner, and Matthew Stafford, all dropping a notch.
So I will admit this point. There was a meeting about should it be vacant next to Mahomes. So we were thinking on the same line. I'm not making that up. There was no committee meeting. It was actually me and our producer, Hubs, because I said build this graphic, and I thought more about it, and I was like, I kind of feel like Patrick should be by himself. And then the argument for Patrick being by himself is a little projection, meaning he's already essentially accomplished what Peyton did, and he's got so much time left. If the world were to stop today, now this works against the Josh Allen point, I understand. Patrick Mahomes and Peyton Manning's resumes, it's not like Patrick has a 10-8 round on him, because Peyton has the 5 league MVPs. You know what I mean?
He's got the MVP.
He has the MVPs.
That's about it.
Well, yeah, but I mean, he has 2 Super Bowls. Patrick has 3. So, like, again,
but Patrick, don't you think was better?
I do. No, I do. But I just think that. I think Patrick Mahomes right now is the 2nd greatest quarterback to ever live. This could be the all-time mountain, and it would be, to me, Brady 1, Mahomes 2, and I would have Peyton 3.
You could put I would put Montana. He could be on the same level as Patrick right now.
What century are we in?
No,
I'm saying all
time.
Saying
if
he went all time.
Go ahead, Walt.
That's for next week.
Okay, yeah.
Start talking Joe Namath, get in there. They're getting Bart Starr on there. Okay. Mine is also a little bit of projection and imagination, which I usually do not like. Some bits
you don't like imagination?
Well, I do like imagination, but I don't like when you guys start switching guys on teams.
Oh yeah, you don't like fantasy football.
No, it's like, well, if you put Brock Purdy on the Buccaneers, like I'm not. It drives me nuts. It drives me nuts.
He hates it so much.
But I think it is a fair bit of imagination to say it's Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts in the Super Bowl. Let's talk about if Patrick wins. Let's talk about if Jalen Hurts wins. What happens if Jalen Hurts wins the Super Bowl? So as a full-time starter, since he has entered the league, here are Jalen Hurts' numbers. Regular season wins, he's 3rd. Playoff wins, he would be 2nd. Again, if he won. He's already has the 2 Super Bowl appearances are locked in. Total touchdowns, including all of his tush pushes, he would be 3rd. So right there, you can't argue with, like, while he's playing, he's an elite quarterback. Now, highest win percentage since first 75 starts. So this is everybody. Brady, Mahomes, Big Ben, Russ, Lamar, Jalen Hurts.
Did we have to manicure this to make sure Jimmy G didn't show
I don't know. Josh, did you put the Jimmy G
Josh is laughing. Yeah,
he must be
No, 75 is nice. Usually it's a
nice.
Crazy number. He would have 1 Super Bowl loss, 1 Super Bowl win, a full career ahead of him, where all of a sudden the dice can fall a lot of different ways for his career. I'm not saying he belongs on the mountain, but all of a sudden he's in the conversation of just guys that have been to 2 Super Bowls, that have won a Super Bowl, you automatically get in the conference.
So let me tell you this. So, okay, I'm glad you said that last part. Because I was going to say, what happens to the Mountain if Jalen Hurts wins the Super Bowl? And the answer is absolutely nothing. Like, none of those guys are getting bumped if Jalen Hurts wins in 12 days, right now. But as far as what it means for him moving forward, it means that maybe you start looking at him more like we looked at young Russell Wilson.
Exactly.
See, that's what
I think where it's like, hey, man, maybe it's not what you expected when he came out of school, where he was drafted. Stylistically, we give credit to the defense or give credit to other parts of the team, but the guy has an it factor and has played well in big moments, and you start to be more open-minded that he could be a different type of elite quarterback. I am not going to be hypocritical in that Matt Stafford winning the Super Bowl totally changed him in my mind. I always thought he was really talented, all that stuff, but it's like, okay, now the thing that people are like, you probably can't do, you did, and you performed at a super high level. So I'm not gonna change those rules for Jalen Hurts.
What if he wins it for and has one of these 165 passing yards, 45 rushing yards?
Yeah, so then
quiet games, the defense rolls, they get to Mahomes, they figure something out.
Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, when you win it, you win it.
Okay, good.
Like, at that point, you won it the way that you've won a lot of these games in the regular season. So this is what was required. This is what was asked. You didn't do the very thing that we all have seen you do in the past in turning the ball over. I'm cool with however you win it, you win it.
And again, I'll use the Russell Wilson point. I don't really have any recollection of Russell Wilson's stats in the Super Bowl win because they won 43-8. You know what I mean? Because that was just a defensive masterclass against Peyton Manning's Broncos team that looked like the greatest offense ever, maybe, and then they just got totally depanced by and nobody was like, well, and I shouldn't say that. In real time, I still think people were like, okay, Russell's good, but not elite. But then he got back the next year. Jalen's already been there once. So, fair is fair.
It would be a huge leap for him. Huge leap.
It's also kind of why I'm even more confident the Chiefs are going to win.
You just explained it.
No, I
just
guess
explained Peyton Manning is Russell and Jalen's Russell Wilson.
No,
Mahomes, Peyton Manning, great number 1 defense. Okay, what are they going to do?
No. Peyton Manning was in the playoffs he wasn't shelling himself yet. He was awesome.
Oh, he was awesome then.
But he was also still Peyton Manning in the playoffs. That's not Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.